Hi, I'm Grace Miller, and I'm going to talk about my personality. So, on the personality activity that we did the first day of class, I wrote for myself out of all the options. I did outgoing, anxious, cautious, optimistic, cooperative, idealistic, organized, trusting, impatient, and emotional. I thought these characteristics were a really good example of my personality, and they kind of hit the nail right on the head. So to describe my personality a little bit, I would say that I'm outgoing, and I've been told so many times before. I tend to be really energetic as far as people tell me to calm down a lot of times. I don't know, it's just how I am, and I'm usually always smiling and happy. Like, this is most of the time, everyone gets sad, and I believe everyone can change, but most of the time, that's my norm. And I am definitely type A personality because I get bothered when I don't get good grades, if I'm late to class, or I'm not organized. Those things really bother me, and I don't feel right until those things happen. I also have the pressure of doing well on tests and assignments, and I am trusting of others, like I listed before, and I give them the benefit of the doubt, and some may call that ignorant, but that's just how I am. I also am very emotional. When I play volleyball, you can tell, and I'll talk about examples later. I can never mask my emotions, it all shows on my face. I am cautious also in my personal life, and I don't like to get into trouble, and I'm definitely a rule follower. Like, I just feel better. It's the same thing as the grades. I also have been told that I am a people pleaser, which probably isn't the best thing. Um, when I think that someone's upset with me, whether they are or not, sometimes I make it up in my head, I obsess over it and my stomach physically hurts until I can set it right. So, some examples of my personality would be like in volleyball, I'm very emotional, and you can tell my emotions because if I'm mad, I usually will like hit the ball really hard or kick it across the gym. And my teammates think that's funny, but for me in the moment, it's how I express myself. Um, Also, the example of my stomach hurting at one time in second grade, I had a boyfriend. Well, he asked me to be his girlfriend, and then I said yes, and I didn't want to be his girlfriend. And I felt so guilty about saying that I'd be his girlfriend and then not following through with that, I went home physically ill that day, and I had to cry to my dad and tell him what happened. Um, so it's been all my life that I've basically been that way. um, Also in volleyball, I'm super vocal, so I would put that in the outgoing category, and I jump around for celebration, even in the highs of the lows of the game. Like, I just feel really into that moment. I'm not very steady at all. I'm definitely all over the place. Also, another thing for type A personality example is that I think about the B plus that I got in Responsible Self all the time. It bothers me so bad. If I could just change it to even an A minus, I would like go back and do that class again just to get the A minus, and that is saying something because people do not like Responsible Self here. Okay, so I think the reasons why I am the way I am, or part of the reason for me, is definitely I see both of my parents and my personality styles. While my parents are very different from each other, I see kind of like a mix within myself. So my dad is really cautious about everything. He's like, "Watch out! Don't bump your head." Like, if I had scissors when I was little, he'd like take them away from me. Just all that stuff you wouldn't even plan to see. He just has an eye for that stuff and is definitely really cautious about it. He still does it now, and it kind of annoys me. But also, one thing that he used to do, which kind of goes in the rewards punishment thing of learning, he used to reward me for my grades in high school, or say he was going to. So if I ended up getting a 4.0 for a semester, he offered me $100 that I could get. And while I never got that because I got an A minus one semester, I think that's something that has definitely driven me to be more academically conscious and really care about that stuff. And for my mom, as she is always a big supporter of me, and she is definitely a model for like always smiling even when things are bad. Like, she is good at masking her emotions in that way, but I think I'm more of just like the optimistic positive side of life because of her and how she brought me up. Like, if something bad was happening, it's okay, get over it, like, you are still living and breathing. That's kind of her philosophy. And she also organizes in her job a lot. And when I was younger, she was always the parent that stood up and would take the leadership roles on like my softball team or like at school. She was always the one who would put together activities and organizational stuff. So I think maybe my organizing comes from that way too, just seeing her do it as an example, and then also just the way her brain works. I think that maybe something biological is going on there. But yeah, so that's a little bit about my personality, and I hope you enjoyed listening to this, and that's all.